Good morning everybody, it's time for Sunday School again today, and we're going to be looking at another story about Moses. I'm going to start today by telling you some bits. We all have rules and laws that we follow every day. They're there to keep everybody safe and protected. There are lots of extra rules in place at the moment in our schools, shops, workplaces, and these are all designed to help keep ourselves and others safe. So, can any of you think of any rules that you might have? I've thought of a few that I thought I'd share with you today. So, we've got our classroom rules. I expect all of you have seen classroom rules and school rules that you have to adhere to at school. Many of you will be in a football team or netball team or rugby, cricket. All sports teams have rules. And the other rule that I thought about was the one that we have heard lots about recently, and that is the coronavirus rules, which is hand, face, space. So today we're going to look at Christian rules, and some of these Christian rules were given to Moses. Can any of you think what those rules might have been? You've got it right, it's the 10 Commandments. And today we're going to look at the story of Moses and the 10 Commandments. So let's watch that video now.
After crossing the Red Sea, Moses continued to lead the people. It was a long journey, and Moses took his people across the desert. The people were losing their patience. They started complaining to Moses.
Moses, we have been traveling for so long now. Will we ever reach the promised land?
Have faith in God. He has freed you from the Egyptians. Now he will lead you to your promised land.
So many people have died along the way, Moses. We were better off in Egypt as slaves of the Pharaoh. At least we could not have died of hunger and fatigue. A lot of children are also sick. We have so many old people who cannot walk with us. Should we watch our children die before our eyes? Is this what you promised? We should not have trusted you. You have led us into death.
I am saddened by your lack of trust. I have faith in my Lord. It is this faith that keeps me going forward. God is always with us. He will never leave us. Trust in Him, and you will not feel weak. And so they kept walking ahead through the desert. God kept watch over them. When there was nothing to eat in the desert and they were hungry, God showered a sweet bread known as manna on them. When they were thirsty, He gave them water from rocks. After many months of traveling through the desert, they arrived at the foot of Mount Sinai. This was where God had told Moses to bring the people. They camped at the foot of the mountain and decided to rest for a few days before continuing their journey across the desert. Moses told the people to stay at the bottom of the mountain, and he climbed up the mountain to speak to God. When he reached the mountaintop, God spoke to Moses. God spoke to Moses for 40 days and 40 nights. He finally gave Moses a stone tablet that described the 10 commandments that his people would have to follow for their entire lives. God gave the following commandments to Moses. 1. Thou shalt have no gods before me. 2. Thou shalt not make graven images. 3. Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain. 4. Remember to keep holy the Sabbath. 5. Honor thy father and thy mother. 6. Thou shalt not kill. 7. Thou shalt not commit adultery. 8. Thou shalt not steal. 9. Thou shalt not bear false witness. 10. Thou shalt not covet. God made these commandments to ensure that men and women lived in harmony and lived peaceful and happy lives.
God wanted His people, the Israelites, to live their best lives just like He had originally planned for them to do before sin came into the world. God's rules were not so that He could control the people, but because He knew what was best for them. Throughout COVID and the pandemic, there's been many ongoing changes to rules and guidance. It can be really hard to adjust to these. One week you may be able to meet your family, the next week you may not be able to. Just like the rules God gave his people, these guidelines are there to protect us and to help us protect others. Why don't you think about this a little bit? And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. What I want to know, you can talk about this in your home environment or with an adult or with your friends. Which of the current rules which you have to live by do you find it hardest to follow? And the other one is, what could make it easier for you to follow these rules? That's something that you can talk about together. Okay, so although the rules and guidances may change, God's heart and love never changes for us. We can see each rule as an opportunity to demonstrate God's love to others, which is wonderful really, isn't it? What I thought we'd do today, I've left a craft for you on the website so you can print that template out, and there's some other activities as well for you to do. There's a quiz and I think there's a word search there as well, and you could even make your own rule chart up as well. But this is what we're going to make today. It's our very own Moses, and you can make that out of the template that I've left there and a toilet roll. So hopefully you'll be able to do that and enjoy doing that craft. So let's finish our Sunday school this morning with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for the story of the Ten Commandments, which reminds us that you want what is best for us. Help us to recognise when rules are there to keep us safe and protected. Thank you that you want all of us to be able to live our best lives. Give us patience and compassion as we follow the current guidance. Help us to remember that you are always with us. Thank you for the example of Jesus, who lived a life without sin. Help us to make wise choices and to live in obedience to you. So let's go away this week and try and remember those 10 commandments that Moses gave, or God gave Moses on the mountain. Have a good week, and I'll hopefully see you again.